You've been connected to the DedSecCast. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to episode 11 of the DedSecCast. My name is Brett, aka UbiCentral, and joining me, as always, is my curly-haired co-host, Aftermath.
Hey Brett, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I recently, if you didn't know, you know, but if people watching don't know, I recently had the opportunity to go to Ubisoft Montreal and have hands-on time with Watch Dogs 2. I did vlog the trip, so if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend checking it out. I really wish I vlogged more of the city because Montreal is really unique and there's like art everywhere. But yeah, I actually did get a few clips of the office in there, which I didn't expect at all because, you know, they're really secretive. But yeah, after I also met Gabe.
Oh my god, I love Gabe. Gabe's awesome.
Yeah, he is perfect. And it's kind of funny how we met. The community members and myself were just like having lunch in the cafeteria. And like 20 minutes later, Gabe just came out of nowhere and joined us. And like I was sitting in a booth kind of thing, in a circular booth. So I was kind of in the middle and I couldn't just like get up and say hi. And he was like sitting across from us on an actual table because there was lots of people there. So yeah, I was closed in and I couldn't just go up and say hi. So I like quickly ate my food and asked like everyone around me if they could get up. And they did. And then yeah, I talked to Gabe for at least like 30 minutes, I want to say. And honestly, I really felt like I knew him my entire life. I don't know if
I
you had
know,
that.
right? That's the exact same feeling I had.
Yeah, I know. He's like super easy to talk to. He's extremely funny, and he's always listening to like what I was saying, which I know sounds stupid, but it's true. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I really did feel like I knew him my whole life, and that was probably my favorite moment from the whole trip, just because like I will never forget it. And yeah, Gabe is just like, he's amazing.
Yes, I agree.
And with that said, I still had an amazing time though. Chase and Hanny are fucking awesome. I've spoken to them like multiple times before I went to this event, and they do deserve to be on this project. You can tell that they're really passionate about the brand and community as well. And speaking about passionate, I'm sure you know this when you went to Ubisoft Montreal, but just like everyone I spoke to was like super into the game that they're working on and they wanted to be there. And like, I don't know, it was just amazing to see because you have to realize there's thousands of people working on these games and you don't really think about it until you really see it for yourself. So yeah, it was cool to see everyone at their desk working on a game. And like when I spoke to some developers, they were just really passionate and you could see. Did you have like that same experience as well?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everyone I met was so jazzed about what they were doing and they were happy and almost pleased to see fans coming through and being able to talk about the game that they're making with people who are passionate about the game, or just as passionate about the game as they are. I definitely agree with that. Yeah, everyone seemed so happy to be working on what they do and to be interacting with the fans and stuff like that. Yeah.
And it's mind-blowing because, like I said, you don't really think about it when you play a game. You just, I mean, you kind of know in the back of your head, like, people made it, but you don't realize, like, there's, like, one person that did a specific task, whether that just be, like, a jumping animation or something like that. And even then, it could be, like, multiple people working on an animation. So it's just insane. Another thing is we spoke with developers, Dominic Guay, the senior producer, community managers, in like a room, and this was after we played the game, and they just wanted to know our feedback, not only on the second game, but also the first one. And they were just taking notes the entire time, and again, you could see just how passionate they were, and they really want this game to be special. So yeah, the highlight of this experience was definitely meeting the people behind the game, the game, but yeah, also meeting Gabe as well, because yeah, like I said earlier, Gabe, I will never forget that experience.
Yes, I definitely understand what you're saying. I had the same experience when I was there, and being able to be a part of something that's just about to come out as well, and be able to have an effect on that with the giving feedback, and then actually like actively listening to feedback. It just sounds so awesome, and I had a great time there, and I know you did too. So thanks to all those Ubisoft guys.
I love you. As far as my impressions go of the actual game, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I already made a video, but it was definitely better than I expected. And I'm a fanboy, so that really is saying a lot. And just right off the bat, the first thing I noticed was the graphics, and not in the sense of like, you know, that's an amazing texture. like, this is the best game ever. It was more in the sense of like, you know, whoa, this is definitely different than the first game. It was brighter, and you really do notice that. Even at night, it just wasn't depressing, and I liked the night. It was, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but it was just bright all the time, and definitely a different tone than the first game, and it just felt like a sequel playing it. One of the biggest issues I had, and I know you did as well, was the driving, and in that video I described it's like a mix between the first Watch Dogs and GTA 5, which I know may sound very weird, but that's what it like felt like. And I can tell you, everyone who played the game with me said the driving felt way better, and it's true. And yes, you can switch between different camera views. You don't know how many times I've got that comment aftermath. Like, people are asking, can you go in first person in a car still? And like, yes, you can. But yeah, the map is insanely huge. It doesn't feel the same when you drive through a city. Each town looks different. The NPCs also match the vibe. So you can just tell how much detail went into San Francisco. They didn't just copy and paste buildings, which is like one of my biggest worries as the map gets bigger. Yeah, just don't get me started about Saints Row 4 or the Amazing Spider-Man games, because they just place building after building. There's no textures. Like, no. Saints Row 4 especially.
Does San Francisco feel much larger than Chicago?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I feel like I just didn't even touch the surface of the map because it was so massive, and I don't know, just I took my time, and again, I feel like I didn't visit like 60% of the map because I was just blown away by San Francisco and the game itself. But yeah, all in all, the game was fantastic. I wish I could play it right now. It was so good, I thought about taking the game home, but I stopped myself from that because I would have obviously got in trouble or probably arrested. So, yeah.
This week, in addition to you being given the high life, the luxury treatment, we also had Gamescom, out of which we got a new trailer for Watch Dogs 2, which showed off the new multiplayer aspects of it, as well as some of the old multiplayer aspects. So we saw it confirmed the online co-op, similar to that of Bad Blood, although we don't quite know the extent of that just yet. Also online invasions, and the brand new mode that they're really hyping up called Bounty Hunt. Now, Brett, I hear that you played or at least saw a little bit of this.
Yes, so Online Invasion is basically the same as the first game, which, don't get me wrong, I don't have any issues with that because that was my favorite mode in the first game. You do have drones and the RC jumper to help you out, which does make things a bit different in that regard, but the mechanics are still the same, so if you like that from the first game, you will definitely like it again in the sequel. I personally didn't play any co-op missions, I don't think anyone did, but I'm kind of glad, to be honest, because I do want some surprises. But honestly, when the game releases, we have to play those together and record, because I really do think it will be a lot of fun.
Oh man, that would be sick.
And I forgot, like, what console are you getting Watch Dogs 2 on? I felt like I've asked this before.
Oh, I haven't even thought about that. Probably PS4.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna get it on PC and PS4. So yeah, we have to do some co-op missions because I said this before the show started, but each co-op mission will be different in regards to the objective, different spawn points, different enemies, so it won't feel the same. At least that's what they're saying, so I hope that's true. And yeah, last but not least, there was Bounty Hunt, Bounty Hunter, Bounty Hunting. There's so many different, like, people are calling it all these different names, so I don't even know which one's right anymore. But yeah, going into this mode, I really didn't know what to expect. For us, we had 1 target and 3 hunters, which you would think is kind of overpowered because the hunters also have cops on their side. But honestly, when I was a target, I escaped once or twice, and I did kill the hunters several times. So it is surprisingly balanced, although when you finally get your hands on the game, it's all going to depend on, you know, the matchmaking system and how they match certain players together. So hopefully, you know, the crap players like Aftermath play with the crap players, and the good players like myself play with the good players. But yeah, or you could just play by yourself, Aftermath, because you don't have any friends.
Oh, stab!
Just stab after stab. Like, yeah. The game mode was fun. I really do hope it can keep players coming back to the game, especially with the addition of the online leaderboard. If you don't know, depending on your score, you can win exclusive in-game items. I'm not sure if this is going to be monthly or how they're going to do it, but again, I hope this keeps the fan base coming back for more. Also, streaming Bounty Hunt, I can already tell, just will be a lot of fun with viewers, and like if they join in your game, I don't know. I feel like that would be a lot of fun.
Now, for a while there, Ubisoft seemed to have a pretty continuous pattern wherein the kind of sidekick from the main game to the protagonist, for example, Adewale and AC4, would again get their own DLC, and this was reinforced with T-Bone and Watch Dogs, wherein he got Bad Blood. So, Brett, do you think that we could be getting a Wrench DLC? Because he does have that unique flair of the two other characters, and so it's possible. Do you think we could? Do you want it either?
Well, yeah, I really do think it's possible, but I don't know if I want it right now because I just don't know much about his character. With that said, I wouldn't mind playing as a different character with the DLC. I really did like how they did that with Bad Blood, and just as long as Wrench is a pretty interesting character, you know, I don't really mind that for a DLC. I just hope it will take place after the events of the main game because I just like seeing how the story continued in a DLC. But if they can make a good prequel, I wouldn't mind that either. But no, honestly, just make it take place after the main story. What about you?
Yeah, I could see there being a Wrench DLC. I personally prefer to be like focused on one of the other sidekick kind of characters that Marcus hangs out with, like Satara or whatever. I'm pretty sure that's her name.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I definitely think it could happen. I'm still not sure about Wrench because he seems kind of try-hardy and kind of too memey for me. And so yeah, just like you, I'd have to see more of him in the game before I would decide whether I'd like him to have his own DLC or not. But I could also see any of the other Marcus's friends having a DLC, just as much, really.
And real quick, I forgot to tell you about this, but there was a Q&A recently on Twitter, and they did reveal some more information. I did make a video on this, but you don't watch my videos, so you don't know. So I just want to quickly recap some things for you, because you probably haven't seen that video. But
Sure thing.
Yes, so someone asked how in depth is the customization and the clothing options, and the senior producer responded saying there's around 500 or 600 different types of clothing and several styles like suit and tie, urban, beach bum. Just what do you think of that? Because when I made the video, people are like, no, he's lying. There's no way. There's 500 plus different clothing options.
I think it could be possible. I think Unity got close to that. Although, in saying that though, Unity didn't do it in a great way. So I think that if they learn from that, they could actually do it and do it better than Unity. So I'm inclined to believe that. And they kind of were going that way in Watch Dogs, and I'd love to see have even more than in the first Watch Dogs.
Yeah, and he might not mean like there's 500 right when you get the game, but there is, like with the multiplayer stuff, going to be exclusive in-game cosmetic wear, and I'm guessing microtransactions, like that's how they're going to tie it in. I feel like altogether there will be like 500 to 600. Maybe at launch, 400. I don't really know, but when I did play the game, there was, tons of stores, and they all have, unique stuff and outfits. And then, yeah, there's also, like, Uplay rewards as well. Like, so I feel like altogether there will be 500, and I don't really understand why he would lie about that when, it was in a video, and on Twitter, just people would attack him forever for that. So, yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Another person asked how many years, actually they worded this completely odd, so I'm going to rephrase that. They asked, when is Watch Dogs 2 set, like, year-wise, and it takes place a few years after the first game, roughly the same time between the release of the two games, which I remember you kind of speculated, like, it takes place in real life, so right now it would be, like, 2016 is when Watch Dogs 2 takes place.
Yeah, because we've seen that with Assassin's Creed 2, and it looked like Watch Dogs was going the way, so that makes sense, yeah.
And then he also added that response where this completely came out of nowhere, but he said, if you played the first game, you'll meet familiar factions and possibly characters as well. And, like, the question had nothing to do with that, and I just hate how he teased that right at the end, like, possibly characters as well, like. I hate you.
Huh. Interesting. What kind of factions do you think? Like the games?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking about that, and when he said familiar factions, first thing that came to mind was obviously Bloom, but we already knew that. So, like, I wonder if, Iraq's gang, the Viceroy gangs, are gonna, like, be in here. I don't know, really.
Yeah.
He could have just meant Bloom. I don't know, but it would be cool to see, different enemies from Watch Dogs 1 come as well, and characters. I know people want to see Aiden, Jordy Chen, T-Bone, anyone basically from the first game. Jackson.
Oh yeah.
There's speculation that Jackson will be Wrench, and I don't know how I feel about that.
That's an interesting idea. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible, I guess. Actually, let me think about this, because how old was he in the first game?
Wasn't he 14?
Oh, yeah, I guess. But then that would be 16. I don't know. Would he go around, like, shooting people at 16? Would Ubisoft do that? I don't know.
Well, when his uncle was a crazed madman who went around murdering people left and right, I could see how he might be affected by that.
I guess. I don't know if they would do that. I think Marcus, though, could still be Damien's son. I honestly still believe that. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yes, and there's so many questions. Let me just try to find some good ones, because there's a lot. There's someone asked, how much of the game can we replay once it's finished? Dominic said there are way more quest/story missions than you need to do in order to complete the storyline. So that makes it seem like the game's gonna be like 16 hours of missions. I don't know, because he's saying there's way more than you need to do in order to beat the game. So I don't know. It really sounds like there's going to be a lot. He also went on to say you can then play/replay co-op missions that change every time. We mentioned this earlier. And then he said online is a big part of replayability, co-op missions, invasions, bounty hunts. There's going to be a season system with the online leaderboard. And then finally, they plan to support the game post-launch, which is definitely good. Another person, will random open world activities such as potential crimes be returning? He said crime hunt events will not be, so when you just randomly saw like a person on the street and try to like help them, that's not going to be returning. His excuse was Marcus isn't the vigilante that Aiden was. I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like it has more to do with the reputation system not being in the second game, because those potential crimes just helped your reputation system go up, but since there's not any, I feel like that's why they got rid of it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It seems strange, because it was kind of a big part of it, it was kind of like you're always trying to help excuse me, you're always trying to help the city and help the people and things like that, or even not do that. So I think that the vigilante system ties into the reputation system, so kind of I think they easily could have put it in Watch Dogs 2 and just been like, well, that's just what Marcus does, he helps people.
Yeah, I mentioned that in my video. It's like, it kind of like he could just help them too. It's like, he said he isn't the same vigilante, but wouldn't it make sense, like, he could get more followers if he helped people? I don't know. He also said there will be DedSec events replacing that fit into the game. So his example was Bloom setting up spying hardware that you can intervene with if you feel like it. So I don't know if that's just like, if Bloom has a little spot on the map and then you just go and like invade it, kill people, hack into it. I don't know what that's going to be like, but sounds all right, I guess.
Yeah.
And let's see. I'm almost done here, Aftermath, I promise. Oh yes, the big one. Someone asked, does Watch Dogs 2 have any Easter eggs to Driver San Francisco? Maybe a certain muscle car. And then he said there's an app called Driver San Francisco, which we already knew about. And then he went on to say it's a ride-sharing app, and you can use it to offer rides to various people in the Bay. And that allowed them to build crazy characters that you'll come across if you use the app. So it's basically like Uber. Did you say it would be like that?
No, I haven't talked about this before. I don't know what this is.
Oh, okay. Well, on the phone, there's a Driver San Francisco app.
I understand that now.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought it was going to be a racing app because, the game Driver San Francisco is racing.
Yeah,
but,
I can see that.
Yeah, basically, it's Uber, so there's that.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. That's pretty modern.
Yeah, it is modern, but I don't know how I'll feel about that. Like, I like people driving me around in an open world game. I don't like driving other people around, but if they're interesting, I'm down.
Yeah, I don't know. You could always do those taxi missions in GTA, like to earn a bit of extra cash.
Yeah, that's true.
And with this one, there's the benefit of meeting these interesting people. Depends how interesting they are, probably. But it could be cool.
And it would also be cool, like, if you drop them off and, like, just later in the open world, you just see them, like, again, randomly. That would be awesome. But you wouldn't be able to talk to them. You could arrest them, though, if you want. Did I tell you about that?
No.
Okay, so for NPCs in the world, they're a lot more alive, and you can call the police on a random NPC if you want. You can also call a criminal gang on him. And like what you do is upload upload police evidence. So you say, I don't know, this person escaped from jail, and then the cops will just go towards that NPC and then arrest them. And the NPC, depending on their mood, they can react differently. So someone can run away, another person can pull out a gun on the cops and start shooting at them, or they'll just get in the cop car and get arrested even though they didn't do anything. And it's really funny to watch.
That's interesting. I like that system. Just add a bit more to the world. Could you call the cops in Watch Dogs 1, or am I thinking of GTA?
You're thinking of GTA. Yes, you could also not only call it like the cops on random NPCs, you can also call the cops on a different cop and get a cop arrested. It's hilarious. Like, that was one of my favorite features. And also, there's police dogs Aftermath. There's police dogs.
Oh my god, no way!
Yes, there is. They chased after me. You can tase them. You can shoot them if you're a bad person. And I think you can also, like, beat them down.
No!
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So, yeah, if you get attacked by a police dog, you should just let them kill you because it's a German Shepherd. It's nice. But yeah, that brings us to the end of episode 11. We really got off track towards the end. None of that was planned. We usually have like a list of things, and then Aftermath, I surprised you.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I do want to apologize for talking like an insane amount of the time for this podcast. Believe me, I really wish Aftermath was there with me to play Watch Dogs 2. Then we both could talk about it for hours. although that would take a lot of editing time, so never mind. It's better that you were just not there.
And I have a cold, so I'm trying to talk as little as possible. Anyway.
Yes, so it worked out. Anyways, I heard your comments, and starting next episode, we will be taking the DedSecCast to SoundCloud. We're not leaving YouTube, and we're just gonna slowly start transitioning into other things like iTunes. So yeah, also last episode got over 10,000 views again. I honestly have no idea how. You guys are insane, but thank you for the support on these. Honestly, they're a bunch of fun to make, and we just talk. Like, there's nothing really to it, but it's just a lot of fun. And honestly, this is probably my favorite thing to make because it's just not scripted. We talk about whatever. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Aftermath, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just wanted to thank Ubisoft for bringing my good friend Brett all the way to Montreal to play some games, and I'd also like to continue to thank them for bringing me to Montreal last year to play games too. Amazing people up there. Gabe, legendary. Hanny is awesome. Met her when I was there. Haven't met Chase, but I hear he's awesome.
Oh, he's amazing.
Thanks to Ubisoft and everyone that watches this podcast.
Yes, and I just remembered I am going to be doing a 75K video because we recently hit that, and I'm going to be showing off my setup as well as giving away some limited edition posters for Watch Dogs 2. They're amazing. I'm giving one away on Twitter right now, so I'll try to put that in the description if I remember. I'm also going to PAX West in 10 days or whatever. Yeah, I always called it wrong. It always gets me. But yeah, if you're there, if you know what my ugly face looks like, you can come and just say hi. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. This has been episode 11, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See ya.